Hey guys, and welcome to the light tank replay contest results. I've looked through a lot of light tank replays and they were divided into two categories. Tier 5s doing extremely well and tier 1 to 4 doing nothing spectacular. I can't blame people for sending in their replays because, well, it's a replay contest and higher tiers will always perform better. So, as I've said earlier, I'm going to do a lower tier replay contest in the future. So the smaller guys will have a better chance at winning, since this was an unlimited tier contest. There are great replays amongst these, no doubt, but everyone should have a chance at winning gold, even the guys just starting, and in this sort of contest they wouldn't stand a chance really. But then again, very good tankers could just purchase one of the smaller tanks and win anyways, with their superior skills. So I even thought about limiting the contest even more to get the new players involved, as in you'd have to have less than 1,000 matches or 2,000 battles on your account to be able to enter, but that would also be overkill in my opinion, since I shouldn't just exclude everyone from being able to enter. But the next contest will be a tier 4 highest tier limit for light tanks, a tier 6 limit on medium tanks, and tier 7 limit on heavy tanks. All of these tanks doesn't require endless grinding to get, so everyone will have an opportunity to join in. Anyways, let's move on to the results for the light tanks. First up, we have a quick match where Duke TT or Duke Double T does a pretty daring move against 3 big enemy tanks. At first, he goes to the bridge over here to do a little bit of scouting and meets no one on the bridge, so he proceeds and he just sits there and waits for a little while, but nothing shows up in the beginning. But when people start showing up, he decides to cross the bridge and is met by a Löwe and a T-34 and a SU 152, and instead of stopping he goes straight between them, right in between them, fires in desperation, but he gets past them and they all miss him, or his tracks soak up all the damage, so he gets past them without taking any damage at all, even missing a shot right there. He then proceeds to kill the Grille in the base, and after he has done that, he goes down to annoy the SU 152, which he drove past earlier. And IS-3 finishes off the kill, and then they proceed to cap the base, and that was the number 3. Third spot for honorable mention, and let's move on. And in this match we have another T50-2. This time it's Mugen for the win, and he drives straight through the middle and scouts all the enemy tanks in one run, and that's 15 tanks in one run without dying. The artillery signals that they are going to kill the enemy artillery, but the enemy artillery disappears, so he turns around to spot it once again, and he does. And both artillery press T on it, and one of them hit. And that's the second honorable mention. So here you see the 15 tanks. If you spot everyone, there will be a scroll bar because there's not a space for the 15 tank. I don't know why they designed the menu for that, but let's move on to the first honorable mention. And in the first honorable mention spot we have a Chappie with Asako inside. He told his teammates to look for enemy tanks on the east side of the map and is therefore driving up there to spot the incoming threats. An AMX 1375 rushes in and Asakov and his teammates quickly dispatch of it. Then a couple of Type 59s approaches and Azakov takes up the battle head to head, something that Chappie is very capable of because of its high penetration and damage output. One of the Type 59s makes a mistake of going straight into the open, and Azakov takes advantage of this to get in a few shots to the side of the Type 59 and then sends off shell into the other tracked T-59. He keeps shooting at the desperate Type 59 trying to get away, but he gets taken out. He then proceeds to help with the last Type 59, and then he runs down to the city where a T-110 is hiding, and he kills a KV-3 just because he can. He then rushes out from his cover and takes out the T-110 from behind, while the T-110 is focusing on much bigger targets ahead of him. After the kill, he drives into the city where he takes out another high-tier American tank by shooting it in the back while it focuses on something bigger in the front. A great first honorable mention in my opinion. But then we have the winner of the light tank replay contest, and it is Victor Kitov. Yet again another T-50-2, but it was a very popular tank in this class. He goes spotting at first, slowly but steady going down through the middle. He then decides to run into a rock, very clever tactic, but after that he decides to lure a KV-3 into a spot where it has no chance of escaping from a circle kill. But I think Victor takes the whole circle thing a little bit too serious, since he completes the circle, outrunning the traverse speed on the KV-3's turret and passes it, luckily not being hit by the shot fired from the KV-3. After the KV-3 has been injured, Victor decides on the hitting a rock tactics again. He then decides to go and help take out the KV-3 before running back towards the enemy base again. On the way to the enemy base, a KV-2 appears, which Victor also helps take out. He gets a shot in the back of the turret and his gun gets destroyed, so he decides to run away for now. While running around on the map, Victor noticed the French tank from earlier trying to sneak into his base, so he goes to deal with it. The French tank tracks Victor, and then he starts reversing towards Victor. The French tank should have kept moving away from Victor to put more distance between Victor and him, because the closer Victor is to the French tank, the further the French gun has to turn to be able to keep up with Victor's speed. Victor hits a T-30 on the move while moving towards the enemy base, and then proceeds to hit a T-34 in the butt. And these are the last shots that Victor is going to fire, because the game ends right after this. Victor wins this class because it's a perfect example of how a game with no kills at all can earn you a lot of XP. So instead of focusing on getting that last hit on a tank, start thinking about damaging as many tanks as possible in one game. People are too focused on getting top guns and Boltos medals. They forget that you don't have to get any kills in any games to have a much higher average XP than the guy with 5 kills in each game. So that's why I picked Victor to win. I hope you enjoyed the video, and Heavy Tanks is coming really soon.